Hello, students. Welcome to Easy Elimu Learning Simplified. My name is Mr. Stanley Umbogo. So, dear students, as we normally start, I believe that you are in good health and strength wherever you're watching us from. And in this session, allow me to introduce to you something under short forms, and that is riddles. But before we get into that, uh, earlier on, that is in our previous episodes, we had an introduction of oral literature where we had an opportunity to, look at the long genres, and we also said something about the short genres of oral literature. So just as a reminder, when we talk about genres in oral literature, we are referring to a class of oral literature with a unique characteristics in terms of composition and manner of performance. So we have got quite a number of genres of oral literature. So we have oral narratives, we have oral poems or songs, we also have, proverbs, riddles, and tongue twisters, not forgetting puns. So proverbs, riddles, tongue twisters, and puns are categorized under the short forms of oral literature. So in our session, that is what we are here for today. I'd like us to look at riddles. First of all, we are going to look at the definition of riddles, and again, we will move to the performance of riddles. After the performance, we are going to look at, the riddling process or the riddling stages and even some of the characteristics of riddles that we have. So to begin with, a riddle is a simple form of a phrase or statement referring to an analogy of some well-known objects or reality that a challenger poses to the respondent. So talking about a challenger and the respondent, dear students, a riddle cannot be performed alone. So it takes two people or two teams or two parties to perform a riddle. So the person that poses a challenge or a question is called a challenger, and the person who attempts to, give a solution to the challenge is the respondent. So, in very simple language, a riddle is a puzzle put forward by a challenger for the correspondent to try and unravel, that is, to try and unravel the meaning or get the solution. Now, on to the performance of riddles, dear students. Traditionally, riddles were performed in the evening, that is alongside other genres, as a way of passing time, although they were mainly passed down from older people. So they were passed down from generation to generation. So the performance of riddles was a domain of children. Um, but we had, the older people passing them down. So today, riddles are performed in school as part of learning process, and this means that they have become quite dynamic. That is, they have changed over time. The process of performance of riddle normally takes the following form. So by talking about the forms, I want to introduce you to the riddling process. So a riddling process has 6 stages, but there are, instances where we have up to 4 stages. So we are going to find out about that. So the first stage in a riddling process is what we call the invitation stage. So in this stage, the challenger declares a wish to place a riddle by using words such as riddle, riddle, or I have a riddle. The next stage after the invitation stage, we have the acceptance stage. So in this stage, the respondents accept the challenge by saying that we take it or riddle come. So after the acceptance stage, we have the third stage where the challenger now gives the riddle. So the challenger poses the riddle. Then the next stage, that is stage number 4, is a stage where the respondents make the attempt until they get the correct answer. So in the stage where the respondents make the attempt until they get the correct answer, we call it the guesses stage. Then The stage that follows is the prize. So that is the fifth stage. So this stage comes after the respondents are unable to provide the solution to the challenge, that is the challenge posed by the challenger. So under this stage, if the correct answer is not forthcoming, the challenger proudly asks for a reward in order to reveal it, that is in order to provide the solution to the challenge. So the reward is a mere token applicable only within the context of riddling process. So these prizes are not, real. They are not real prizes. They are just, prizes or gifts that are given by word of mouth. So the token or the reward depend on the creativity of the participants. Then the last stage that we have is now a solution. That is when the correct answer is given and the respondents marvel at the genius of the challenger. So remember earlier on, that is midway, I said that sometimes we can have, only 4 stages. And this happens when the respondents are able to provide or give the correct answer or the correct solution to the challenge. So, dear students, let us move to classification of riddles. So, there are several ways of classifying riddles. So, some of these ways include, we have the first one, we have riddles that are classified according to the imagery employed. So, this classification looks at the object mentioned in the riddles and classifies them. Thus, example riddles on wild animals, plants, domestic animals, people, natural phenomenon, traditional objects, modern technology, cooking, utensils, etc., etc. So these are, classification that are done according to the image that is employed. That is by looking at the object mentioned in the riddle and classifying them. So we have the second category, that is those riddles that are classified according to style and structure. So like other forms of literature, riddles also employ style to communicate the message. So accordingly, we have styles such as homologues or ideophonic riddles, and these are riddles that rely on sound. The relationship between that is the puzzle and the answer lies in the ability to relate to the sound of a particular object. So we also have declarative riddles. That is riddles. That is the styles employed in these types of riddles are description. So a description of the object is provided, and they match so perfectly that the respondent can guess. For example, we have this riddle here: a European standing on one leg, and the answer to it is a mushroom. So those ones are based on descriptions. We also have interrogative riddles. That is, a style in riddling process that is used. Or we can talk about the presence of a riddle in a question form. Then there are epigrams. So this is a style in puzzling, and it is done by presenting a series of logically connected puzzles that allude to a process or an object. An example of epigram, we have ting ting brings tang tang, and tang tang brings ting ting. So the solution to that riddle is that hens give eggs, and eggs, produce hen, something of the sort. Then we also have another style that is called analog or coinage. So this is a subgroup of the epigram, and the style here is comparison. So the riddle is a comparison between the object and the expected answer. So talking about narrative riddles, the style in this type of riddle is narration. So the challenger begins by telling a short story that has elements of ambiguity, or that which presents a difficult problem to be solved, or that which underlies some hidden facts, and that asks a question which requires an analysis of the story. So, for example, we can have this narrative riddle here. A man was going on a journey carrying the boat, a leopard, and some sweet potato vines. He came to a river that he could only cross by a boat, but only which could only carry 2 items at a time. So how did he carry the 3 items across the river? So that is an example of a narrative riddle. Remember, if the man decide to go with the leopard, the goats will eat the potato vines, and if the man decide to go with the potato vines, the leopard will eat the goat, and so on. So you are supposed to come up with a solution that will ensure that the man crosses over successfully with all the items that he has. So what are some of the functions of a riddle? So the functions that we have are as follows. The first one is that they are performed by at least 2 people. The second function is that entertainment, leisure, amusement are involved. Another thing is that they test and develop children's wit or intelligence. Another function is that they help children to be observant of the environment. And another one is that they enhance socialization. That is, sometimes children would exchange riddles with adults. Then the last function is that most riddles are stated in the form of statements rather than a question. So I think that last one should be under a characteristic, but not a function. That is, most riddles are being stated in the form of statements rather than a question. That is fit for a characteristic. So let us look at the similarities that we have between riddles and proverbs, having looked at proverbs. So the similarities that we have between these genres is that number one, they are both short in form, and that way they are called short forms. Number two, they both employ metaphorical or figurative referential language. Number three, they are used for the purpose of oral communication. The fourth similarity is that they embody the culture, that is values, beliefs, practices, and that is artifacts of a particular community. And another similarity between riddles and proverbs is that they are distinct to a particular community or environment. So before we come to the end of the session, let us look at the differences between riddles and proverbs. So here are some of the differences that we are able to identify between these two short forms. So the first difference is that while a proverb is a short statement of wisdom, sorry, a riddle is a language game. The second difference is that the proverb is a single statement, while a riddle has a formula requiring that is a challenger and a respondent. So they have a different form. The third difference is that a proverb is a static. It is a static statement that does not change in time and space, but riddles are dynamic as they are influenced by time and space to change. Then the last difference that we have is that proverbs are usually used by adults, while riddles are a domain of children. So dear students, that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you for staying with me till the end, and remember to always keep it easy, Limo. Until next time, bye.